If you are selling through a WooCommerce web store on your WordPress site and also have online courses on Zenler, then you can actually connect these two platforms together so that you can sell your online courses through WooCommerce and deliver that through Zenler. And the way you can do this is by integrating WooCommerce and Zenler using Suretriggers. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you make this connection work. But in order to get started here, you need to sign up for an account at Suretriggers first, and that's what you're seeing here on the screen right now. There's a link below this video, and you can click that and sign up for a free account. However, we will be using a multi-step workflow, and that actually requires a paid account at Suretriggers. So I'm on the Pro plan myself, and with that, I get unlimited workflows, which is great. But more importantly, for this tutorial, you also get multi-step workflows. So this is what you need in order to complete the integration between WooCommerce and Zenler. And the way this works is that once you've signed up for your account, you can set up your apps. And in this case, it's going to be WooCommerce and it's going to be Zenler. So it's those two apps you need to connect to Suretriggers. And once that's done, you can set up a start trigger. So in this case, we're going to make WooCommerce the start trigger. So whenever someone buys this online course product that you set up in WooCommerce, then it will trigger actions over on the Zenler platform. So that's the basic flow here. So first of all, if you don't already have the account, sign up with the link below. And once that's done, we can jump into this example. And I'm actually going to use one of my courses that I have on Zenler right now. And I'm going to connect that with a demo site where I have WooCommerce set up. So first off, you need the Suretriggers account, you need WooCommerce, and you need Zenler. So once that's all taken care of, we can actually go into Suretriggers, and you need to start by connecting your apps. And the way you do that is by clicking on Apps, click on Add New Connection, and we're going to start off with WooCommerce. So in the search bar, simply type Woo, and you will see that there are several different variations of WooCommerce, and we want the regular connection, and that's just WooCommerce here. So I click on WooCommerce, and that will bring up a new screen where you actually need to download a plugin, and that's the Suretriggers plugin. So you want to download this and install that on your website. Now, I already gone ahead and installed and activated Suretriggers on this website. The next step is to connect the WordPress website with Suretriggers. And you do that by clicking on Connect here under Plugins and Suretriggers. And that will bring you to this screen where you click Get Started Now. And that will bring up this page where you need to authorize and continue to make this connection between your website and Suretriggers. So you just go ahead and click Authorize and Continue. So now your website is connected to Suretriggers. And as you can see, now you can actually set up your automations and workflows in Suretriggers here from the back end of your WordPress website if you like. But I'm going to move back to the regular screen here over at Suretriggers. So I prefer being in this view right here. And by doing this connection, as you can see now under apps, you can see that WordPress is connected, but it has also connected all these other apps, including the WooCommerce app. So even though you're not seeing the WooCommerce logo right here, the connection is actually complete. So the next step here is to connect Zenler to Suretriggers. And in case you haven't already done that, there's actually a separate video on that I walk through step by step that you can watch right here. But I'm going to give you the quick version here. The idea is the same. You go under Apps, you click Add New Connection, and then you search for Zenler in this instance. And then you need to follow these instructions right here. You need to fill out 3 form fields. The first one is a unique name. The second one is to grab the API key from inside your Zenler account. You can find that under Site, Developers, and then API key. Grab that. insert that here. And also you need to add your subdomain. And you find that by going to Site and looking at Site Settings. That's where you find that subdomain. But again, there's a separate video. If you need that, I'm going to link it below as well. So once that connection is done, as you can see, I already have that set up here. Now we can actually make the connection between WooCommerce and Zenler. The next step is to go to Workflows, click on Create New, and give this workflow a name. And I like to do it this way, so I basically write out where it's starting and where it's going. And in this case, it's starting on WooCommerce and it's going to Zenler, and it's also the course Jumpstart Saxophone. So I'm writing that out as well, so I know what this workflow is all about. But you can make up your own naming convention, obviously. Once you put in your name, just click Start Building, and we need to start with the trigger. So in this case, it's going to be on a purchase in WooCommerce. So we're going to search for WooCommerce and pick WooCommerce. And here you need to select the event. So what type of event should trigger this workflow? And in this case, it's going to be product purchased. So select product purchased. And then you need to make the connection with your website. And I just made my connection here, so I can pick my WordPress website connection right here. And finally, we need to select the product from WooCommerce that should trigger this workflow. So I already set up the product, Jumpstart Saxophone here, on the WooCommerce website as well. So I'm just gonna select that and click Fetch Data, and that will pull in the data about this particular product. Once that's done, you click Save, and you have your start trigger in place. So the next step is to set up the action that follows when somebody triggers this workflow, and that can only be done when somebody buys this particular course. And you do that by clicking the plus button, and then you search for Zenler so that we can connect this to Zenler. And then you choose Select Event and add a new user. Select connection. Here from this list, you choose your Zenler connection. And now we can start mapping up the information from WooCommerce into Zenler. So in this case, we need to add the first name and last name and email in order to get started. So the way you do that is simply by adding the cursor in the first field here for first name, and then add the @ symbol. And this will bring up all the different parameters that you can choose from WooCommerce. So what you can do here is look down the list, and you will see that there's fields for shipping first name, shipping last name. Now, a quicker way of doing this is actually to start typing after that @ sign. So if I type name here, it will filter all the variations. And I actually prefer using the user first name and user last name, because shipping could be other information than the person that is actually buying. So just to keep it lean and mean, I always go with first name, username, and username last name. So user first name is John here in this test. And I'm going to do the same thing for last name. So put the cursor in the field for last name, an @ sign, I type name, and this filters so I can pick down here, user last name is Doe, so John Doe. And this is just test information. This is the way it looks when you set it up. Once it is running and a person actually buys, you will see that information being pushed through. You also need the email. So the email, you do an @ and type email, and then this will bring up the user email. So I choose that. The next field is for the password that your customer will be using in order to access the course on your Zenler platform. And in this example, I'm going to use a static password, meaning that every customer that buys through the WooCommerce integration will get the same password. However, there are ways in order to make this a random password But for that to work, you need to add more steps between the WooCommerce trigger and the Zenler integration. And in this demo, I just want to keep it simple, so I'm using the same password for every customer. So once that's done, you need to choose the correct role for this customer and make sure that you choose student here. And once that's done, there's nothing else that you need to push over to Zenler. But if you want to push additional information over, you can do that by picking it from here. So final step here is to test the action and click here. And this will make a test to make sure that it's actually working between WooCommerce and Zenler. So we got a positive test here going. So I'm just gonna click save. And then we're back in this view. So now we have the WooCommerce product, and whenever someone buys this, there will be a new user added to the Zenler platform. And you can actually check this step if you want to by going into your Zenler platform, clicking Site and Student, and then you will see this test information up here. Now, if we click into this person, you can see that there are currently no courses attached to this user. So that's the next step. We need another step in this workflow in order to assign the correct course to this user. So going back to Suretriggers, now we're going to add the actual course to this workflow as well. And you do that by clicking plus underneath the last step here. And then you search for Zenler again. You add it, and for the event this time, you want to choose Enroll User to Course, and then you have to make the connection here once again. And here you have two options. Now, the first one, to select the user, if you simply click here, you will only get a list of all your users on your Zenler platform, and that's not what you're looking for. You're looking to add the new customer so you can connect the user to the actual course. So what you want to do instead of clicking here is to click on Map on the right and then type in the @ symbol. And this brings up your WooCommerce options from above. That's the trigger. And also the next step, or the previous step here, from Zenler. And you want to click on Zenler and choose this ID. This ID is unique to every user on your Zenler platform. So you want to pick that ID, and that will update as you get a new customer. And once you've done that, you need to pick the course. So now you click Select Course, and you pick your course. Once this is done, you click Test Action. And what's going to happen now is actually trying out and making sure that the connection is working. I got that a message. It says it's working, but we can also double check this now. So I'm going to move back into this test person right here on the Zenler platform, and I'm going to reload this page. And now you can see that this person is enrolled into this specific course. And this verifies that this automation is actually working. So now I'm going to go back into this workflow and make sure that I save this. So I'm clicking Save, and this is now complete. Now the last step here, in order for this workflow to start working, is actually to publish it. So I'm just clicking Publish, and now it's active. So this means when somebody is buying this product in WooCommerce, they will be added as user to Zenler and also added into this specific course. Now, if you want to sell a bundle of courses in WooCommerce, you can just make one product, which is the bundled product, and then you set up this workflow, but you add on yet another step for each additional course. So you need one step per course if you want to do that. So that's a basic flow that you can use when you're selling through WooCommerce and want to integrate that with Zenler. Now, once this flow is active, I suggest that you make a test purchase to take note of what emails are being sent out both from WooCommerce but also from Zenler. you may need to make adjustments there so you don't send out 6 different emails at once. And it's the easiest way to check that. Just sign up as a customer, do a test purchase. That way you can verify that the workflow is working as well. Now, in addition to that, you may also want to double check your settings inside WooCommerce by going under WooCommerce, Settings, Accounts, and Privacy. Make sure that this first option for guest checkout is unchecked. That way, every customer gets an account on your WooCommerce store as well. And that's important if they want to retrieve their receipt later on. The receipt is being sent out by WooCommerce, but if they request a copy of that receipt, they can actually go into their own WooCommerce account on your website and download that again. And furthermore, with WooCommerce, most stores have a generic thank you page set up. However, since you're selling an online course that is hosted on Zenler, you may want a specific thank you page when someone buys this online course. And there are plugins that you can use to set up custom thank you pages with the additional information they need and the link over to the platform to access their course. Well, there you have it. Now you know everything you need to get started integrating WooCommerce with Zenler using Suretriggers. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you got any comments, just post them below, and I will catch you in the next one.